I feel like in the last couple of weeks I've been in like a little bit of a slump. Or like, let's call it like a bad mental health time. And usually because during the weeks I'm working, on the weekend, it all hits me full force right in the face. And so all weekend, all I've done is like kind of drag my feet around, like sleep, and not look after myself. And it's one of them where it's like, when I don't feel good, I let myself not feel good. And I've really been letting myself like feel my feelings because I think it's really important too. But when the bad feelings start outweighing the good feelings, we need to reevaluate because that was not the meaning of this entire thing, you know? That's not why we do it. So, today's mission is healing. We got this, period. I just ordered some groceries, so I'm just waiting for them to arrive. Because I ran out of milk, and I literally can't have my morning coffee without it. I was thinking about just having a black coffee, but then I was like, no. I've just found out that, fuck's sake, the milk, they apparently don't have any in stock. So, luckily I bought 2 milks. I always buy a soya and an almond, and they're out of soya milk. Fuck. They're also out of donuts. Shut up. My food shop has literally made like 3 separate wrong turns. I don't have high hopes for this guy. Like, how hard is it to follow directions, you know? Weird. I'm starting to crash. I need coffee. You know, something I've kind of like been thinking about a lot recently is the fact that when I was a kid, I always thought, I can't wait to be an adult, I can't wait to have all my shit together and do everything and be so cool, and you get what I mean? Like, as kids, I feel like we all think that as soon as we hit like 20, that we're just gonna magically have all of our shit together. Which is so weird because now, looking at me as a 21-year-old, I very much don't have my shit together. But also what I kind of love about that is nobody really has their shit together, I feel. Like, we're all dealing with something, right? It's kind of like that. It's like, even as kids, like, we thought our parents had their shit together. And then as adults, you kind of realize, oh, so we all collectively don't have any of our shit together, but we just pretend that we do because it works, you know? Fake it till you make it. None of us are on form like 24/7 either. I just find it crazy that at one point in my life I thought that that would be the case. And now I know for a fact that like we all have moments where our shit is more together than others. But for the most part, we're all just kind of winging it, going with the flow and seeing what happens. And I think there's something kind of like really funny about that. Like, why do we all pretend to have our shit together? Why? Like, who are we trying to please? Who are we trying to please? People always say that when you look better, you tend to like feel a little bit better. And so I think that's kind of my goal at the moment. Kind of dress up all the time because there's like no reason for me not to, you know? Like, why wouldn't I dress up for myself? It's like, you know, the feeling you get when you're dressing up for a date and you want to look your best? Like, I feel like I try and do that, but for me, like every day. And it's kind of nice. We should all do that more often, you know? Dress up for you, not for anyone else. Just for you to look at yourself and go, yes. I feel very lonely. Yeah. It's kind of hard to explain because I feel like I need to be alone right now anyway. Like, of course, like I have my support bubble of people in my life that I really do appreciate, but I think the main reason I need to be alone and be lonely for a little bit is because I need to kind of be okay living in a world where only I exist. Does that make sense? Like right now, when you're going through things, it's good to have people around you that care about you, but at the same time, you need to kind of care about yourself a lot. Which isn't an easy thing to do. I think, you know, we all think we care about ourselves, but then it shows in the way you treat yourself. You need to be okay being alone. And sometimes that comes with a little bit of uncomfort, not being okay alone. Because then, from being uncomfortable, over time you become less uncomfortable being by yourself and it becomes second nature, you know? You know how to be there for yourself, you know? You learn how to lean on your own self for support. And so it not only gives you that sense of like independence, it also just in turn makes life a little bit more enjoyable because especially when you live by yourself, you have countless hours in a day, and if you're uncomfortable filling that time with your own company, then it's gonna make you sad, right? And I think being alone makes you really appreciate the company of others too, and relish in the time you spend with people, but then also knowing that at night when you go home, you're with yourself and you're happy to do that, you know? I was gonna go for a walk outside, but honestly it's so cold that the only place I wanted to be was back home. And I'm still really cold. I wish it was so warm outside. I wish I lived in a hotter country, but here we are. At the same time though, it's kind of like, I don't know how people in LA live, because surely that's just like, it's warm 24/7. There is no season change ever. Is that not really weird? Does that not just feel like every day merges into one? Because I feel like the seasonal change helps me kind of like figure out what time of year it is. But I don't know what it is about this year. This year seems to have flown right by. So, it's been a couple hours. I've been kind of just sat watching TikToks, to be honest. But I started reading this book, and it's called 12 Rules for Life, An Antidote to Chaos. And like, I've only just got to the first rule, right? And my brain feels overwhelmed. He does a really good job at like painting a visual image of what's going on, but at the same time, it's a little long-winded. Especially in a book like this, I think I want people to get to the point a little bit more. And how long does it take to get to the point, you know? When you put things into perspective, they kind of become a little bit easier to digest. But it's making it harder for me to digest because my brain can't focus on all of the visual imagery that's being created while also being explained a point. I don't know. It's weird. Kind of fun though. What I've been doing a lot with like everything in my life is doing it on instinct rather than on habit. So, rather than telling myself, I have to read, I have to do yoga, I have to cook, I have to blah blah blah, I do all that shit as instinct now. Like, following my body's needs and my mind's needs. I don't know what it is, but I just never, and I mean ever, thrive under pressure or under a routine. Routine just doesn't work for me. But I think that makes a lot of sense because my job's creative. So you can't really create or expect to create if it's forced. It's never going to be good work. You know what I mean? Unless you're in a very creative mindset already, it's very hard to do that. You know what I've realised too? I've not been drinking a lot of water recently because I'm either caffeinated or... I'm just caffeinated. All the time. Maybe that's something I need to work on because that's a lot of caffeine in a day. I kind of can't help it. It's always my go-to drink, and because it's cold outside now, I kind of need the extra warmth, and I'm like, another coffee won't hurt. Then I'm here at like 5 p.m, jittering. If you see me jitter, you didn't see me jitter. Okay, maybe that is a sign I should go actually get some water. Oh, I don't want to though. Nah, I'll just lay down for a bit. Back to TikTok we go. The idea of healing is so strange because some days you wake up and you're completely fine, and then other days you wake up and you're not so great. You know, you're kind of going through the motions a little bit. But it's also so normal to not be okay and then to be okay, and it be almost like sporadic in the way it shows itself. And I think the beauty of that is, with any pain in life, anything that you experience, it makes you a better person. It helps you grow and it helps you almost just become an adult, to be honest. It helps you figure out who you are and what you stand and what you don't stand, and then how you can heal and how you can be okay in your own company and stuff like that. I think it's such a journey of self-discovery and self-love that we then have to kind of dip in and out of throughout our lives, you know? It's never linear. And, you know, I feel like the greatest lessons come from the greatest losses or the greatest sadness that you go through. And so it gets to a point where, like, when you actually look back on it again, it's no longer sad. It's something you look back on and you can be thankful for the experience and thankful for who that made you. It's kind of beautiful when you think about it. There's so much beauty in, like, the tragedy of life, I guess, because it's part of life. It's part of that journey, and we all deal with it. I think that's what makes it a little bit more comforting too. We all have those times. So I've actually not cooked now in about 2 weeks, just because I've been like really, really busy, like traveling and stuff the last couple of weeks and dealing with a lot of stuff. I just haven't given myself the chance to even cook, and I've also just really not wanted to, if I'm going to be quite honest. The last thing on my mind was cooking. But I want to ease myself back into it now that I'm home and I get to kind of enjoy my space again. I think it'll be fun to just do a little bit of cooking. I need to start off easy, that's why I'm doing pasta. I need to get myself back into the swing of things before I start going crazy. Because I feel like if I start with something really complicated, I will just crash and then not want to cook again. Plus, like I always say in every single video, because I always seem to be cooking pasta in every single video, it's such a comfort thing. It's such a comfort thing. Like, there's nothing I would rather be doing than eating pasta, you know? Okay, so the goal in mind is to make like a vegan, vegetable, pesto, butter pasta. You know? I've never made butter pasta, and honestly it sounds kind of gross. So I thought if I do milk, butter, pesto, and veg stock, boom. That sounds pretty good to me. And honestly, the feminine urge to just kind of like run with it and not follow a guide is kind of exciting. Why do the small things excite me so much? I'm not gonna be mad though, it's kind of fun. Do you guys just see? I thought it was a sprinkle lid. It was not a sprinkle lid. Oh, I already know where this is going, and it's not going great. I think we're actually getting somewhere. But I think, honestly, I could have literally just thrown milk and pesto in here and it would have been fine. I think all the added ingredients at this point are just adding to the calories and not to the flavour. It was kind of just exactly how I thought it was going to be. It's not like the best thing in the world, but it's kind of good. So, I'm not really that mad. Hey besties. So, I lied. That food earlier was absolutely atrocious, and I'm not even kidding right now, it is midnight. I have felt so unsatisfied with my food today and everything I've been eating that I'm deciding to cook right now. Listen, it was calling to me. I can't control it. I was sat in bed thinking about food and I was like, wow, today's been a really shit food day. I was like, I am not ending today on the note of that, you know? I'm not gonna go, oh, today's been a shit food day. Good night. No. We're gonna make a good meal because I deserve a good meal and I wanna feel, you know that like satisfying feeling you get when you eat something really tasty? So the plan is rice. In the water it goes. Okay. So we've got our corn. We've got our peas. I'm gonna make like a hoisin corn and peas and rice dish. You get where I'm going with this. I'm very excited because this is sounding really fucking good to me right now. Oh my god. I can't believe that meal was so bad. And it was weird because it was one of those meals where it was like, oh, this is pretty good. And I was eating it and I got about 3-4 bites in and I was like, no, this is actually quite shit. And I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this to myself right now. That's how bad it was. Like, I know it sounds like I'm exaggerating, and I probably am. I literally knew from the get-go, the moment I poured that stupid, like, seasoning into that dish, that it was over. We all knew it was over. We all knew it was just all downhill from there. You remember earlier when I said about not following a recipe? That was so dumb. So in my healing process, I kept thinking I was hitting a brick wall constantly. And I feel like I've really like gotten out of that all of a sudden. I'm riding the wave, but also not putting pressure on that to myself. I feel pretty great though right now. I've become very, 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 very obsessed with spirituality. I feel like it's coming back to me and I'm kind of enjoying that whole process quite a lot. And something I realised last night, and I actually caught myself doing, is that I often feel bad for feeling bad because it makes me feel like I'm vibrating at a lower frequency. If you're a spiritual person, you'll know what I mean. And I think I cracked the code and like got myself out of that headspace by realising that that literally isn't the case at all. And the reality of the situation is that, like, I'm a real human being experiencing very real human emotion and allowing myself to feel that and also accepting those parts of me, which I think is actually me vibrating at a very high frequency, because even though I'm sad, I acknowledge the sadness, I allow myself to feel the emotion, and accept it for what it is. And I feel like that's like the most honourable thing you can do when you get like that, you know? Yeah, this is a lot of rice. Oh well. Presentation out of the window at this point, guys. Should we give it a taste? This is this is a lot of food. I didn't really think this through. It's really good. It's really good. Yay! Anyone else really love like watching people eat? Not in a creepy way, more like, you know when you watch a video on TikTok and someone bites into something and you just see their face kind of like light up a little bit? That's me right now. Just like restored my faith in everything, you know? Starting the week off right.